So, hey Clay, Josh Woodfield, thanks for this opportunity. Just want to film a quick demo video for you so you can see how these APIs work. I'm going to start with the signals ones. I think that's one that's really unique and you guys don't have. I mean, you have obviously plenty of signal tables, and this one is specifically prompted, right? And that's what makes it unique. So let me scroll over here to where we're doing it. It's called the Company Signal Enrichment API. I've included all that in the documentation. What's unique about this? Here's the endpoint. And as you can see, we're just injecting data from a company table, company name, domain, and then it's prompted, right? So in this case, you see I say find recent signals that define why inject the company name would want to use signalist.com. And really that's the true value proposition here. Of course, it can find, partnerships and funding and all the basic signals, but this one really allows AI enriched signals. And then additionally, it can be fed by any model in OpenRouter. So you can see here we're using Google Gemini Flashlight. We have some capabilities like the amount of target signals that you want, look back days, how far back do you want to go on the signals? And then we even tie to an ICP ID that can be created in Signal itself, or can be pulled over from Octave into Signal. So you guys probably know we're partners with Octave as well. So these aren't required variables. So that's the nice thing. But if you do use the ICP, then you get deep layer signals, outreach intelligence, and predictive intelligence. And so I will show you that. Here's a real recent run we did. And you can see that super relevant signals. I ran this today. We're pulling signals as recent as yesterday. They're all within the time frame. And then if you look at the API output, it's very robust, right? So we're very transparent on pricing. Obviously, we could remove that for you guys, but we're showing like what the API cost is. This is purely from OpenRouter. We're showing the signal. So every signal gets a lot of different data, but more importantly, gets the actual signal source. So they're all verifiable. We have a signal relevance reason. And then we tie that reason to the prompt, right? So this relevance reason is explaining why this signal is directly relevant to the prompt that was given. And of course, it's dynamic. It changes depending on what you prompt, right? We've got some deep signals in here as well. So this is very much like next level implication of the signal and why it matters. We have some cheap observable clues, and then a predictive layer in here that we basically come in and we say, using AI, we can tell you that, this is why the signal matters and what you can pitch in your outreach. So we're trying to get very creative here in how we use signals to inform outreach to get better results in outbound campaigns, whether they be through Instantly or Smartly or HeyReach or another tool, because obviously that's what our agency does. Creative PS lines, which are a kind of neat little feature we've thrown in there. All of this data that comes back with every API call. So you can see I've shown here some of the outputs here in the columns, and then again, very relevant data as you can see from the recency. Very cost effective as well, just depending on what happens. This one's 2 cents, right? So we've done a lot of API work here to keep the cost down, give you guys some margin as well. The other two I mentioned is email, finding emails, and then email verification. So as you guys probably know, we run a pretty big agency as well. So we built this into Signal. We're also using this for our agency. We have some of your other partners and agencies using our API as well. And very great API finding. And so as you come in here, you can see we're documenting the email, the ESP enrichment steps. So we use a couple different databases. So if nothing's found there, we run it through a waterfall. In this case, we found it through the waterfall. And then from there, we do email verification. So we're using both regular email verification and secondary email verification for catch-alls. And that is the exact process we have found sending 10 to 12 million emails a month that gets us impeccable deliverability, the lowest bounce rates possible. And we document all that through every API call. right? So we show the user what's happening, what the ESP is, et cetera, and then we bring that through the final verification. So again, transparency. This API cost to our users is 1 cent, which I think is extremely competitive for what it does. It's got a very good coverage rate for finding emails, as you can see on this list, 544 out of 773. So very high coverage in regards to a bunch of other tools, right? Of just purely using multiple enrichment tools to find email and validate emails. And then we put all of that output into the API. And then finally, we also just built email verification. And so you'll see that here, where when we have an email, so let me filter on that. Email is not empty. We're running a similar API. This one just doesn't go out and find the email. So same concept. We're using verification and the secondary verification for catch-alls, and we've got this one at half a cent per row. So for people using Apollo's, MFO, other sources, and then they want to do email verification, we have this uniquely. So these are the three APIs that I'm submitting. In Signal is, for context, we have very good documentation. So let me go to our help center. And if you go to our API, you can see all of our APIs, company signal enrichment, all of the details there. And that's all available directly from the homepage as well from Intercom. So that is available as well if you have questions about the endpoints, et cetera. We got Signal is where it can export to a webhook and Clay, things like that. So we're already going down that road, but we'd love to get integrated into Clay, at least even if it's just the APIs in there. For now, that would be awesome. So thank you so much. Appreciate the time.